Yes, folks, we are back. Hope you are doing well. Good evening. This is the BBC News at 10 o'clock. No, I'm joking. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the Jack Christie Show or the Scottish Wisdom Show. We are not too sure what it is called yet. We're back in Dundee after a beautiful 2 weeks in the Costa Calma, close to Morro Diaboli and the island of Ventura. Now listen, the plan at this moment in time is we're going to talk about Scottish music this week. This is full Jack Mr Christie mode tonight, and a little bit of an update for you. I've applied for a visa for Melbourne in Australia. We are hoping that all this world chaos dies down and we will be spreading our wings, so to speak, in a major city, either Brisbane or Melbourne, or seeing some new countryside that I didn't see before. Dundee is lovely. Dundee is beautiful. Dundee is very windy, and now, considering the last sort of 6 weeks of weather we've had in the UK, which has quite frankly been shocking, that's why I went to the Southern Hemisphere. Now, let's see if we can try and get this all set up, because I actually can't see where... Oh, there we go. Boom. Nope, wrong one. It would be... There we go. It would be this one. Fantastic. Is that working now? Yes, it is. Perfect. So 0 confirmants on this one so far. That's okay. Scottish music. Now, why am I getting onto that part for me today? Well, Scottish music is what I've taught previously before, and it's certainly one of my passions. So today, let me sort it out. We are going to be talking about Scottish music. We're going to give you a little hint and flavour of what it's like being Mr Christie. And also at the same time, we are going to try and be informative, and maybe you're joining a stream because you don't really know anything about Scottish music. Or maybe you are joining it and you maybe are a pupil and you're needing to do some revision on Scottish music. As you've seen, I've been doing some conducting videos previously, but we are going to go into teacher mode today. So, Scottish music. Bagpipes. No. As you know, there is a variety of different instruments that we use in Scottish traditional music. Now, one of them is, obviously the most famous, is the bagpipes. The bagpipes have a continuous drone coming out of them. They look roughly like this. And coming out of them has 3 pipes which stick out of the bag. The chanter is used to play the melody, and the player puts air into the bag with a blowpipe. Pipers often play in bands, but also can play solo. Solo pipers often play a special type of music called pibroch music. This sometimes is called the classical music of piping. It's very specialised and difficult to play, and is often built on variation form. Now, what do I mean by variation form? That has a theme, and then it continues on the same theme, but adding extra stuff. Pipe music is usually decorated with grace notes. Okay. Let's just move that over. There we go. And hopefully you will be able to hear the bagpipes. There we go. As you could probably hear, we had all the little grace notes. That's that short dra from one note to another. That's known as grace notes. And underline that, yaw, the long drone. That is known as a drone. Now, continuing. If anybody knows how to do a split screen on streaming, you're more than welcome to give me advice on this, because I've never done it like this before. It's an experiment. Second one, I'm going to give you another one here, also bagpipes. That's more P-Rock style. So, moving on. We have another instrument that we usually talk about is known as the clarsach, right here. Clarsach is a Scottish harp. It can be played solo or accompany a song. It's smaller than an ordinary concert harp. An ordinary concert harp has about over 50 strings. Yeah, clarsach only has about 30. The clarsach sounds like this. There we go. It's very soft sounding instrument. I bet it can be very nice for accompanying stuff, and is usually nice for accompanying a nice solo female voice. Now, continuing, we are going to be talking about the fiddle, my certain instrument. The fiddle is the instrument more commonly known as the violin. There is no difference between them, but to play the fiddle, you need a different technique. The style of bowing is slightly different, and many fiddlers play by ear. As you've seen me play before, there's more of a style and technique. I'm not going to play tonight, because you've seen that before. If you haven't, go and look at it on some of my other videos. But fiddlers can often play in groups, but can also play solo. A popular solo piece is known as a solo air, which is a slow piece played for listening which gives the soloist a chance to play their technique and show the beauty of our instrument. This is what it sounds like. Groovy piece, absolutely. So that was a slow air. And now we're going to talk about the accordion. Accordion can be played solo, but is mainly used in Scottish dance or folk bands. It's a reed instrument, like a different, like woodwind or reeds. Okay? The player plays the melody on the keyboard and using chords using buttons on the other side. So as you can see here on the instrument, we've got the keyboard, and then on the other side it's just buttons. Here is an example of, as you can see, it says Inverurie Academy. I use that Inverurie Academy. We've got, here is track 5, example of accordion. And there we have the accordion. And more specifically, that is the famous original Dashing White Sergeant tune that you would play at the beginning of this Ceilidh dance, Dashing White Sergeant. Moving on. So, we've had our instruments. We've had bagpipes, we've had fiddle, we've had clarsach, and we've had accordion. Those are the 4 main instruments used in Scottish music. Now, usually these would be played in groups. So, I'm going to move back to my little workbook that I used. This is Scottish groups. A Scottish dance band is perhaps what you'd hear at a ceilidh or a wedding. Like I said, with the ceilidh music. The band would play various dances, including 8-some reels is one of a dance, and also waltzes. And another one I just mentioned was the Dashing White Sergeant. 8-some reels are in 8s, waltzes are in 2s, and Dashing White Sergeants are actually in 6s. Okay, listen to the following example of a Scottish dance band and write down the instruments that you hear, is what I would usually say to the pupils in my class. But if you want to do this, please join. There we go. So, we had 2 in there, I think. Certainly what I could hear. We had a drum kit, the cha, 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 cha. And we also had the accordion. Now, the piano or keyboard players in these bands are sometimes played as along with pianos. Okay, and in much of Scottish music use a style of playing which is called vamping. Okay, vamping is that little cha, 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 cha. Let's have a little listen to that now. Form or structure of playing, usually in ceilidh dances, because it lets the dancers be able to keep the beat consistently. Now, another group is a pipe band, and it consists, as you're probably aware, of drums and as well as bagpipes. There are 3 types of drums in a pipe band. We have bass, which is the really big one and low one. There's the side, which is the medium one and the medium one, and the tenor, which is sort of the smaller one. Here is an example of a pipe band. And coincidentally, that is a tune that could also be used for one of the dance bands in the form of what's called a barn dance, or more specifically, a Canadian barn dance, which is also done in twos. Now, another group we have is a folk group. It can be made of many combinations of instruments, including fiddles, guitars, accordions, tin whistles, singers, etc. So, here is first one. I'm going to let you listen to 2 groups, okay, and list the instruments or voices and decide the tempo for each example. Oh, wrong one. There we go.
On a day like today, my love sailed away over the seas to his homeland. Not fortune nor gold could he find in this world, and I did despair at his going, going. I did despair at his going.
Boom. That is the first one, and then here is the second one. So, I'm actually going to let you listen to those ones again so we can type these down. Okay, so, first one. There we go. Now, this is quite easy. We have the guitar. We also have the fiddle.
On a day like today, my love sailed away over the seas to his homeland. No fortune nor gold could he find in this world, and I did despair at his going, going. I did despair at his going.
Okay. And I would say the tempo would be allegro. Okay, it was actually in a jig time. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. Next one, we had the second one, which sounded like this. What we got is the Scottish harp. It is known as the clarsach. As we mentioned earlier, the dance over here Okay. Moving on. Oh, yeah. So there's the tempo. Okay. Allegro, adagio for the tempo, jig, and slow air for the dances. Now, moving on. Another one that we've got is Celtic rock. Celtic rock. Celtic rock is a fusion of traditional folk music and rock music. It uses the melodies of traditional music, but the instruments of rock, such as guitars, bass, and drums. Here is an example of this. And that, I don't know if that's come through very well, but that certainly sounded poor for me. Another example of that, or a more modern version, would be the Red Hot Chili Pipers. Easily mixed up with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Okay, so I've mentioned some dances earlier, okay? We're going to talk about Scottish dances. Okay, we've got 5 of these, okay? Or 5 main ones of these. And some of them are quite traditional in the sense that we've probably heard of them before. One of them is known as the march. March is a tune, as they say in America, with 2 or 4 beats in the bar, which has a marching feel. So left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Join the music. There you go. Okay, so the march, very simple. Okay. The waltz is a dance, very traditional in the sense of it's done in other countries as well. It's in 3 beats in a bar. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's a moderate tempo. Go. There you go. Okay, moving back, we have got the Strathspey. Now we're getting a little bit more unique towards Scottish music this time. The Strathspey is a dance which is in 4 beats in a bar and is easy to recognise with its dotted, jagged rhythms. So da-dum, 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 or da-da-da-da-da-da. So it's like long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short. Or short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long. And these are known as Scotch snaps. Scotch snap. Scotch snap. I'm a Scottish man. I can... Okay, and here is what it sounds like. Much more jagged. Okay, much more snappy, much more jaggedy, much more jumpy, as I always think. Okay, so that's a Strathspey. 2 more to go. We have the reel, which is fast, more flowing dance rather than the Scotch snaps of the Strathspey. It's still in 2 or 4, and this is probably the oldest because it's fast. Okay, lots of notes. Okay, so very fast, fast flowing. That would be for all the faster dances. Okay, but all of these that we've mentioned so far are simple beats. Okay, it's either in 2, 3, or 4. Okay, simple time. But each beat can be sort of subdivided into 2. So it's like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 are 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, it's all the same, right? And we're known as simple time. Now, the jig is the next one that we're going to talk about, and it's the only exception. It's also a fast dance, but has an important difference. It is in what's called compound time. This is where each beat can be subdivided into 3. It has a kind of skipping feel as opposed to the reel, which has a more running feel to it. Okay, so I want you to feel this next one, known as the jig. I always think it sounds like skippity, 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 or strawberry, 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 or you can even use the word for it. Jiggity, 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 jiggity. Or as the generation of this current land would be skibbity, skibbity, which I actually don't even know what that means. But anyway. Okay, so it's got a skipping feel as opposed to a more running feel. So that was it. Okay, now listen to these examples and try and identify which dance is which. A little mini quiz. Here we go. Here is number 1. That was number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. And finally, number 5. And there we go. So, from the beginning, our first one, which sounded like this, recap, was a waltz. Okay, waltz. The second one, sounded like this. A lot faster, that one is the jig. Jiggity, 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 jiggity. Okay, so compound time, jig. Next one was so like this. That was the beginning of it. It was a strath spee. That's the first original one so far. Strath spee, well, originates presumably from the River Spey, which is in Scotland. Okay, so the Strath Spey. Next one, number 4. The reel. Very fast, lots of notes. And the last one, actually, a bit of a trick. We also had the Strathspey in that as well. Okay, so waltz, jig, Strathspey, reel, another Strathspey. Now, moving on. Cross rhythms. For those non-musicians, are used sometimes in Scottish music. A cross rhythm is the effect produced when two conflicting rhythms are played at the same time. Sounds like this. There you go. There's so the da 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 da. So it's going at a different rhythm or a different speed, not different speed, but a different rhythm that's going to the actual tunes. Okay. Right. Last bit of our Scottish music extravaganza. Scottish ballad. Scottish ballad, vocal music. Vocal music. In the form of what is sung. The Scottish ballad tells a story often with a historical event such as a murder or a battle, or as they say in Taggart, there's been a murder. It can use both narrative, telling a story, and dialogue, the singer pretending to be different characters. Ballads are often quite long, and also, if they're a little bit emotional, usually quite sad. Okay, here is an example of a Scottish ballad.
There were twa sisters in yon bower, aye o and sae bonny o, and there came a man to be their wooer, and the swan swims sae bonny o. Sister, oh sister, we'll gang to the broom.
Loving this.
Aye, oh, and say bonny ho, to hear the blackbird play his tune, and the swan swims say bonny o.
Bonny o, bonny voice, that's for sure on that one. Okay, at the beginning of the 19th century, there were many farm labourers who had to move far from home to find work. Now, many of them moved to the northeast of Scotland to find work. They lived in bothies, which were sort of like rough shelters with basic sort of furnishings, and some of them are still used today in the form of like camping places on high walks if they were out on the moor. The men worked long hours and returned to bothies in the evening. The men would gather in the evenings and sing songs about their bosses and working conditions, giving them a chance to complain about their lifestyles. And let's be honest, the northeast of Scotland still loves a good moan. Bothy ballads are sung in the northeast dialect known as Doric. Okay, it's a mixture of Scots and English, as you'll hear now.
When I was only 10 year old, I left the parish school. My father feed me to the mains to chaw his milk and meal. I first put on my near bricks to have my spindle trams, syne buckled round my knappin' knees a pair of Nicky Tams.
A pair of Nicky Tams. That is the Bothy ballad right there, or one of them. As you can hear, probably the difference. You can hear some words that in English, and some words you're like not too sure. That is known as our Doric accent. Quite original for, or unique to, the northeast of Scotland. Continuing, and we're changing language at this moment in time, going to the west coast of the island, known as the Gaelic Psalms. Now, if anybody's religious, you'll know that there is psalms in the Bible. And yes, psalms were sometimes sung in Gaelic on the west coast and still sung today. Gaelic psalms are sung unaccompanied and are slow religious song sung in verses by worshippers. The leader of the minister often starts with the congregation following. The songs often sound out of time due to the free way in which they are sung, with each person and their own touch to the psalm, quite often at different speed. This is the weirdest and most enchanting thing I ever listened to. God, I wish I could speak Gaelic. That is very insulting what you're doing there, Jack. Mr. Christie, outrageous. Now, moving on. Women, made up of walking songs. Now, what do we mean by walking songs? Whilst they were walking or manoeuvring of, or as it says, a process of beating cloth to seal and shrink it. This was known as walking songs. The pounding provided a rhythmic beat to sing along to, while they were doing this back in the olden days. The verse is usually sung by a soloist, and like the Gaelic psalms, the rest join in with the chorus and is made up of vocables, sort of nonsense words, like hiri, horo, dura, ha. Okay? Have a little listen to this. I also think this is the most enchanting thing as well. Can you hear that little thumping, that little tapping? That's supposed to be the tweed hitting the table, as it was wet to try and shrink it, Now, last one of the mouth music we have of vocal music is known as mouth music. So far we've had ballad sung in English, Bothy ballad sung sort of in English known as Doric. We've had Gaelic psalm, guess what? In Gaelic. We've had walking song, also in Gaelic. And we've also got now mouth music, sung in the Highlands when people wanted to dance, but there were no instruments available. As well as using Gaelic, the singers improvised with also nonsense words. Here is an example.
Jean, Snianach the Vietnam, Snianach Lamara, Chicas to Fatik, Chum Hain, Orak, Jean, Snianach the Vietnam, Snianach Lamara, Chicas to Fatik, Chum Hain, Ninakan Kapayak, Silla John, Kanagal, Tuna, Helmi of Sheshin and Dogs Hadan, Hamisha Kapayak, Sakalan of Bjorn Hall of Ages, can make Gal of a Horan of Shirkan, Orak, Jean, Snianach the Vietnam, Snianach Lamara, Chicas to Fatik, Chum Hain, Orak, Jean, Snianach the Vietnam, Snianach Lamara, Chicas to Fatik, Chum Hain, Ninakan Kapayak, Silla John, Kanagal, Tuna, Helmi of Sheshin and Dogs Hadan, Hamisha Kapayak, Sakalan.
There we go on the mouth music. Okay, so ballad. Let me get myself up here. Ballad, bothy ballad, Gaelic psalm, walking song, and finally mouth music. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a quiz to finish this up. So listen to these examples and vocal music and try identify them. Here we go. Here's the first one.
3 gypsies came to Urhaldor, and oh, but they sang bonny, oh. They sang so sweet and too complete that they stole the heart of our lady, oh. For she come tripping down the stairs, her maidens to be for her own. And when they saw her will but face, they...
There we go. Thank you very much. Moving on to number 2.
A tyrannical cropped upon the hill, running yoke, fish brought his mell, Crana his life to Janical, lived Geordie McIntyre. He hid a wife as sweet as himself, and a daughter as black son like himself. There was some fun had a war the smell at the mucking at Geordie's bar. For the crepe was thin, the besom was thin, the para with the raw.
And we're moving on from that one. We're going to move on to number 3. It's already given away. That's all you're getting for that one, because that should be quite easy. Number 4. Fantastic. And finally,
Shalukudi-o, Nesco-Gravikitor, Shalukudi-o, it's a Shachatakeruvan, Shalukudi-o, Nesco-Gravikitor, Shalukudi-o, it's a Shachatakeruvan, Pio and Pio and Pio in a skipper, Pio and Pio, it's a Shachatakeruvan, and Pio and Pio in a skipper, Pio and Pio, it's a Shachatakeruvan.
shut it right there. Yeah, again, very offensive. I do apologise to the communities of that's like Scots Squad with the Chief. I do apologise to the communities of the west coast of Scotland. I'm just trying my best to sing along to the stuff. Now, moving backwards. Okay, question 1 sounded like here we go.
3 gypsies came.
Singing in English, we are going for Scots Ballad. Ladies and gentlemen, Scots Ballad. Now, number track 30 we've got here.
A tyrannical cropped upon the hill, running you fish brought his mill, Grana is like the Janical, lived Geordie McIntyre. He hid the wife as sweet as himself, and a daughter as black shall like himself. There was some fun how to war the smell at the mucking at Geordie's byre. Or the grip.
Mucking at Geordie's byre, number 3. We're moving on. And it sounded like this. Thumping. Walking song. Next one. Gaelic Sam, and then the last one we have. Music. And that is us on our grand tour of Scottish music. So we've looked at instruments, we've looked at dances, and we have looked at types of vocal music as well. We've also looked at different types of Scottish groups. Now, if you are here as a visitor, hope you've enjoyed. If you're here as a National 5 Scottish student, please use this again as a study resource material if you so wish. And any other further questions, please leave a comment below. I'll get back to you as soon as we can. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed. Enjoy the Scottish music. Top tip, top recommendation for you right here. If you're ever needing some positivity and bustling tune to drive you at this moment in time, I would go for The Cabin by the East Pointers, who are a Scottish/Canadian, or they're Canadian of origin, but it's in Scottish music, style music. It's known as The Cabin. Go and have a little listen to that. I'm going to listen to that on the way out. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you very much. And I'm going to leave you, as I start today, with the intro video of On the Trail. Thank you very much. God bless. See you soon.